So about a month or so ago, I reviewed WWE 2K18 here on the channel, and I had ECW and WWE legend Stevie Richards come on and help me with the review, and it came out just great. I loved how that review came out, and we obviously had some fun at the expense of the game because the game was just a broken nightmare, and I sort of thought to myself, why was this? And, how did it get to be so bad? And more importantly, when would the game be fixed? Because let's face it, in 2018, a lot of blockbuster games released in the past that had to have been patched along the way. A game like Mass Effect Andromeda, that game needed patches immediately because they pretty much rushed the game out the door to help meet consumer demand and to get some sales. And while the final game ended up being pretty good, the initial game was a bit rocky. You look at things like PUBG, which has sold over 4 million copies on the Xbox One, but essentially still has major flaws in it, but they're fixing it as they go along. So as much as I don't like it, as much as I love being able to buy a complete game on day one and not have to worry about issues, it's just the way video games are nowadays. And it's sad, but it's true. So with WWE 2K18, obviously it had some things going against it. When you talk about the Nintendo Switch version of the game, let's sort of chronicleize the history of this version of the game because it was actually very interesting. NBA 2K18 was one of the first Switch titles announced, so it was obvious that NBA 2K18 was obviously a priority for 2K when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. It was one of the first games shown in that Switch sizzle reel, so it made sense that that game would get a lot of attention, and the end product ended up being fantastic. Still one of my favorite third-party games on the Nintendo Switch, an absolute joy to play, definitely an authentic replication of like the PS4 or the Xbox One version of the game, just scaled down a little bit, but it's pretty minimal at the end of the day. It's a great version of the game. If you like basketball and you want a quality basketball game on the go, I can never recommend NBA 2K18 quite enough because it's just a fantastic game. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, they announced WWE 2K18 for the Nintendo Switch kind of out of nowhere. They have Seth Rollins do a little promo with the Switch, and it's like, okay, obviously they've either been working on this for a while or the higher ups at 2K were like, hey, that Nintendo Switch stuff is selling well. Let's go ahead and put WWE on there. So it sort of made sense to me. And as time went on, we did not get much information about the Switch version of the game. We saw tons of stuff from the PS4 and the Xbox One, but nothing for the Switch. But they sort of did that with NBA 2K18 as well. The only time we ever saw the game was in Nintendo Direct. So I remained somewhat hopeful. As someone who's played wrestling games since, the NES, WWF WrestleMania, I've played a ton of wrestling games. I've played the PSP games, from the SmackDown versus Raw series. I know how these games work. And I thought to myself, as long as that's like a baseline, just with better graphics, that's cool with me. Those games were still a lot of fun and they really were good games at the end of the day. So it didn't bother me that they didn't show the game off because I thought they didn't show off NBA 2K18. Look at how good that came out. But as time went on, we got less and less, information to the point of where everything was silent. People thought the game was canceled or delayed or something. And then 2K came out on social media and they were like, no, the game's still coming. It's coming this fall. And then of course it ended up releasing pretty much out of nowhere. I want to say it was like the first week of December. It might have been the last week of November. But suffice to say, it's been about 2 months since the game has been released. And when I reviewed that game, it was absolute crap. It was absolute crap. I wasn't, acting or anything there. I wasn't acting like, trying to be over the top with the game. The game was absolute crap. It was the worst game of 2017. Yes, worse than Troll and I. But I thought to myself, this isn't a small company like the people who made Troll and I. That was a $30 game. This is a full $60 release. I actually bought the game digitally because the digital version came out before the physical version. And I wanted to review the game and cover the game so bad on the channel that I actually bought the digital version of the game for $60. And I thought to myself, well, it'll be worth it. At least I'll be able to make the review, and then maybe down the road they'll actually patch the game to fix these issues, because I had been hearing from my friends that the game was just so bad, and of course it ended up being that bad. But you would have some sort of faith in 2K, and in this company 2K and Blind Squirrel. Blind Squirrel is the one who developed the Nintendo Switch version of the game. 2K of course published this version of the game. So why did this game end up being so bad? What actually happened in the cycle, the development cycle? We quickly got some rumors that it was either WWE pushing the game out the door because they wanted to get holiday sales, or maybe it was 2K pushing the game out of the door to get the holiday sales. But when you think about it, it sort of comes back to that that main point that I made earlier. You know, games like Mass Effect Andromeda, a game that released with issues and then was fixed along the way. So I remained hopeful. I understand this is how video games are in 2018. So we've gotten 2 patches on the Nintendo Switch version of WWE 2K18. I completely skipped the first patch because I heard it was very small. And then we started hearing about another patch that was supposed to come out Thursday, and today is Friday. I believe today is the 26th. Thursday the 25th, this patch was supposed to come out. On Wednesday, I was just sitting around and I noticed that a software update was available for WWE 2K18. And a lot of people were saying, oh no, this is a different patch than the one that's coming out on Thursday. Because all we have to go on, because Blind Squirrel has been absolutely quiet on Twitter and social media, along with 2K, about the Switch version of the game. In a press notes, or in a release notes for a patch for the PS4 and the Xbox One, they said that a special Switch patch was coming on Thursday the 25th. So what was this patch that came out on Wednesday then? It seemed to just come out completely out of the blue. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna download this patch. And I downloaded the first patch, which took about 5 minutes, and then the second patch started to download. And it took much longer. It was a much bigger patch. So I thought to myself, all right, cool. You know, they finally figured out something. They obviously figured out how to make this game better, how to make it run better, how to be able to do something besides just a standard vanilla one-on-one match. Maybe they figured out what was going on, because obviously there has to be some sort of programming bug, because there's so many third-party games that run great on the Switch. There's no excuse for this one to run as bad as it does. And so I downloaded both patches and I said, you know what, I'm gonna stream these patches. I'm gonna stream my initial impressions of this game, you know, with the patches. Hopefully they fix things. And I streamed it and nothing was fixed. Nothing was fixed. Like, I don't understand what these patches were. Like, the only things I noticed were things like Seth Rollins now has the tag team belt, and like, that was it. Maybe one-on-one was marginally better, but everything else was still absolute crap. I did a tag team match. I watched intros, you know, the intro scenes, and they were all laggy and slow and disgusting. And I was like, what is this? Where did this patch go into effect? I did a backstage area match, and arguably this backstage area match ran worse. It ran worse than the one in my review. And I sat there thinking to myself, you know, how is this possible? What do these patches do? You know, what is this? And then everyone told me in the chat that was watching live, they're like, no, this isn't the patch. The patch comes out tomorrow. So I'm thinking, well, what patch did I download then? They said, no, version 1.03 will be the next patch, and that'll come out on Thursday the 25th. Today is Friday the 26th. Here's my Nintendo Switch, okay? We're gonna turn it on, and we're going to go to WWE 2K18. We're going to hit the options. We're going to hit software update via the internet. You can see that I'm utilizing 1.02. Oh, would you look at that? I'm using the latest version of the software. So that was the patch. That was the patch. The patch that was supposed to make this game better. The patch that was supposed to fix issues within this game. A patch is supposed to fix things in the game. Yet the patch did absolutely nothing. The patch did not fix the game. The game is still unplayable. The game is a wrestling game where you cannot have a wrestling match, because if you get pinned, it's based on timing. And since there's input lag and frame rate issues, you can't really kick out of the pin. You can't do a backstage match. You can't do anything above a one-on-one match without it coming to a screeching halt. You can't really create wrestlers because of the load times. You can't really create intros because of the load times. And then when you get to an intro, it runs so slow. And this isn't a small company, you know, this isn't a company like Troll and I. This is 2K, the publisher of this game. They know better because they've released games on the Switch like NBA 2K18 and LA Noire. Whereas Blind Squirrel been on social media? Whereas 2K been on social media? I've tweeted both of them numerous times. I've left them emails. No one ever responds to you. Nobody ever takes the time to explain anything going on within the Switch version. So they're pretty much leaving this version out to die. And you know what? I've never done this with the game. As many bad video games as I played, as many video games as I've played in 32 years of living, I've never asked for a refund on a game. I've never been so disgusted with a business practice that I want a refund. And I know that I bought this game digitally, so I can't just walk into a store and get a refund. And I know it's not gonna probably work in my favor, and it's just gonna be an absolute waste of my time. But I'm asking for a refund on this. Either Nintendo, 2K, Blind Squirrel, somebody's giving me a refund on this game, because this game does not work. It would be like buying a Mario game where you cannot platform. It would be like buying a football game where you cannot play a game of football. The core mechanics of the game do not work. The game itself does not work the way it's intended. And if you let companies get away with stuff like this and you support the game in 2019 when it releases, because you know they're going to release WWE 2K18, it just becomes this vicious cycle where they can sell stuff to you, the consumer, absolute crap that doesn't work at its bare functions. You cannot do the bare necessities of the game, and they still get their money. And they don't have the common courtesy, they don't have the decency to address this version of the game, to address any fans or anywhere on forums, on Twitter, on Facebook, on any sort of social media, on any sort of emails. So everyone in this situation is guilty. Nintendo is guilty because they are not putting the pressure on 2K. 2K is guilty because they let somebody put the pressure on them to run this game out the door. Blind Squirrel is guilty because they don't have the common courtesy with their small ass little Twitter to respond to anyone's tweets about this version of the game. And it's disgusting. So you know what? I want a refund. And I'm going to start this campaign. WWE 2K18 Switch refund. And that's going to be the hashtag. And if you own this version of the game, use that hashtag. I highly recommend that everyone sort of band together and make your voices heard. You know, gamers have done so much to make their voices heard in situations. You look at the Battlefront 2 situation, that was an absolute L for EA over this situation. If you could take out EA, and if you can make EA pay attention, you can make any company pay attention. So we're going to be using the hashtag WWE 2K18 Switch refund. And I urge everyone to ask for a refund for this game, and I will spearhead this. You know, if I have to waste time sending emails and sending daily tweets or bi-daily tweets, whatever, man, I don't care. The principle of this is disgusting. I wanted to rage and go really over the top with this video, but I'm just so disgusted and blown away that this is probably the final version of the game, that there probably will never be a patch, because it's February. They're already looking forward to WWE 2K19, and support for this game will be dwindling. So this is what you're stuck with. A broken, disgusting game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and you know, leave me some feedback in the comment section down below. Obviously, I shouldn't have bought this game, but I really thought that it would be fixed along the way. I really thought there would be some sort of way to improve upon the game, but here we are, and nothing is going to be fixed unless we, the gamers, make our voices heard. Don't buy it for sale on the eShop. It's a terrible game. Play any other game. Play literally any other game than this game on the Nintendo Switch. Vroom in the Night Sky, Troll and I. You want to buy those games? Buy those games. Buy those games over WWE 2K18 because they're better games, as sad as that is to say. Let me know in the comment section what you think about this, what you think about the whole situation with WWE 2K18 on the Nintendo Switch. Thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video around, share this on social media, share this to WWE 2K18, you know, in their social media stuff, on their blogs, on their forum posts and stuff like that, because I demand a refund, and hopefully I'll get one, or I'm just gonna waste a bunch of time doing it, but I don't care. I don't care. It's the principle of the matter. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later. RGT.